Hey there, it's Ruth Sherman, CEO and celebrity speech and media coach, but you don't have to be famous to work with me. And today I want to draw on my vast experience as a media trainer to celebrities and public figures who have had to face a variety of crises to talk to you about how to manage a crisis in our brave new world. And to make sure I stay on track, I've got a lot of information to deliver to you, and I want you to stay tuned, and I want to stay on track and give you the info that you require and that I think you need going forward. I'm going to refer to my trusty notes. So, we all remember the crises faced by Chipotle, by Volkswagen, by Nate Parker, and other people like Nate Parker and other companies like the two I just mentioned. And these are people and companies and an individual who had to face a crisis and were not ready for it. Crises occur without warning, and very often, unfortunately, there is no plan in place to deal with them. And the resulting environment is one that can be very reactive, very confused, very emotional. It can be driven by fear. And the result, of course, again, is no communication or poor communication. And that can spell the death knell and be a real hit on the reputation of the company and its leadership. Not to mention the customers like you and me that it serves. All right, so, the truth is that today, and for at least the next 4 years, we are going to be facing some pretty regular business crises that companies, I wonder whether, even if it's not their fault, whether they'll be able to recover from it. So it's not fair, but the best defense is a good offense, and a good offense is being ready. So there are things that you can do to get ready. Even a small business can do to get ready for a crisis. So you're not running around tearing your hair out and worrying about what's going to happen next. Everything is in place, and I want to share with you 5 things that you should keep in mind and that you should think about and start implementing now before a crisis hits, so you can be ready and you're not one of the ones who goes down. So, number 1, first, it is critical to understand the geopolitical environment. I mentioned that earlier. We're in a new world. It's in the US, we are in a unique and unprecedented moment. Intemperate and ill thought out statements or criticisms that often have no basis in fact are being shared by leadership via social media, and they are emboldening followers who buy your stuff and who have the power to make your lives incredibly difficult and cause unfortunate reactions. We have just seen this with Carrier, we've seen it with Boeing, and we've seen a little touch on it with the automakers. These are all reputable companies, and they have had to face down some pretty difficult moments just in the last few weeks. So be mindful. If it can happen to them, it can happen to you. Second, business leaders have to position and fortify the company. Look, no company is beyond reproach. Bad things happen, and oftentimes it's the company's fault through bad management, neglect, bad craftsmanship, or bad personal behavior. You have to decide whether your company, whether this is a company that has values that will hold up under this type of assault, under this type of pressure, or whether it caves at the first gust of wind. I liken this to building a structure in the construction business, building structures that can withstand hurricane force winds. You've got to be able to do that. So positioning and fortifying the company in advance. Third, there has to be a rapid response team in place. The crisis moment is not the time to start gathering the right people. These people are the ones who can quickly develop messages that resonate and they can apply the discipline necessary for them to function. Sometimes the initial messages are what I call holding statements. An example of a holding statement is something like, we're on top of the XYZ issue, we take the situation very seriously, and we're working hard on a solution. Also, there always has to be a promise of more information soon. You simply can't make the holding statement and then run away and hide, which is the instinct. Corporate leaders are human. We just want to run away and hide and hope that it blows over. Ain't gonna happen. Either the business controls the story, and that's you, or the story controls the business. And you don't want outsiders filling in the blanks for you. You need to be out there and making sure that your story is the one that gets heard. Fourth, you have to identify the best spokesperson. And surprise, surprise, this is not always the CEO or senior most leader. The CEO, of course, has to make an appearance, and perhaps that person is the best person for this job. But another executive might be better, someone who is skilled at delivering messages in a variety of press and digital environments, and can be a regular spokesperson, which would and could, think about this, position the CEO or senior leader and his or her team as the people who are solving the problem. They are best equipped to work on the problem. So while they're working behind the scenes to solve the problem and to make it come out okay, the spokesperson is giving regular updates. It is, again, bringing the CEO in at opportune and critical moments is key here as well, but he or she may not be the best person to be out there, to be the face of the issue or the company or the business regularly. Fifth, do regular fire drills. I often say this, you've got to be ready. Prepare, prepare, prepare. I understand why you don't want to prepare for something like this. Nobody wants to think about something unpleasant like this happening. It's human nature, again, for us to think everything's going well, there's no reason for anything to go awry, but they do. Plus, there are always more interesting things to do. There are plenty of internal fires to put out. But as I always counsel my clients, being prepared is the best bulwark against a downward slide or taking that hit and weathering that storm that could result in a drop in market value at best, or the destruction and demise of your company at worst. It has happened. It has destroyed businesses and destroyed careers. Look, these steps may sound like, fear-mongering. They may sound like I'm just, overly concerned. But I don't think I am. In today's new geopolitical world, being prepared to manage, and there are two goals here. One goal is to calm and satisfy customers and markets, and the other one is to protect and assure the reputations of the leadership. If you want to achieve these two things, what I set out for you to do is exactly what you should do, and it requires nothing less. If you want to learn more about how to manage in a crisis, hop on over to ruthsherman.com, where you can subscribe and download my free gift. And also subscribe here. Thanks for watching.